Oops.
Tonight on NASCAR Race Hub, here it is. He's coming to the white flag. He hears on the radio, we need to go get a couple of more positions if we're going to advance to the championship 4. Off of turn 2, he gets the word from his team. And in turn 3, he puts the plan into action. Throw it into 5th gear, hit the gas, put it on the wall, and ride the rim all the way around to the checkered flag. That's exactly what he does to make himself championship eligible. As he's doing this, you're out there on track with him. What was your perspective of all of that?
Well, first of all, let me say that that's the perfect definition of it takes what it takes. You know, whatever it takes, let's go give it a shot. At that point, he was already lost. You know, he was 2 points below the call line. There was nothing he was going to be able to do. The 14 was too far. He did the only option available that he had. And actually, you know, I was probably 10 car lengths behind him. So when I was exiting on corner 2, he was still in the back straightaway with me. And when I saw him go straight, I thought, oh man, what a shame he had a flat tire. And then when I saw him going super fast, I was like, what's going on here? And then I lost time because he was going so much faster than everyone else against the wall that I didn't know what happened. And then when we crossed the start finish line, I saw that the car was all tore up, and I saw exactly what he did, but it was pretty wild.
Yeah, I chuckled when I heard one of his interviews last night. He said, well, you know, a video game I played with my brother Chad back in 2005, it kind of worked. I went, what? Classic Ross Chastain. But Brandon McReynolds, my son that spots for him, I talked to Brandon last night, and I said, Brandon, what in the world? He said, Dad, nobody there watching or listening had any idea. He said, we told Ross when he went through 1-2 on the last lap, he needed 2 spots. And he said, honestly, I thought what he was going to do is just drive it down in the 3 until he got to that group. They'd look like bowling pins, and hopefully Ross would come out the other end with the positions he needs. Nobody but Ross Chastain, I think, knew what he was going to do with Ross Chastain.
You mentioned the team radio. Let's listen to their communication final lap yesterday at Martinsville.
1 more, man. 2 spots here.
Gotta get him? Yeah, I gotta get him. Need 2.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Hang on, man. Check the flag. Nice and easy. Keep it up against the fence there.
Talk to me, please.
You made the transfer. You made the transfer, man.
Oh my God! Holy, yeah. Oh,
That was wild, man. That was wild. Really proud of you, boys. On to Phoenix.
I've talked to so many people today in the NASCAR community, many of them drivers, some that are retired from being inside the race car. All of them said, I've never seen anything like that. Where does this move rank when you think about the history of NASCAR?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around motorsports for roughly 50 years, including late models, and I've been in NASCAR for over 42 years, and I've never seen anything like it, and I'm not sure we'll ever see it again. Now, of course, this was not for the win. This is for Ross Chastain to advance the championship 4. I was at Daytona in 1976 with Pearson and Petty wrecking coming off turn 4 with a checkered flag waving. We all know what happened in 1979 that put NASCAR on the map. I even think back to one hot night when I was crew chief for Davey Allison in 1992 at Charlotte for the All-Star race, what happened between him and Kyle Petty. But I've got to say, I think this is different from all of those, but it definitely, I think, shoots up into the top 5.
For you, Daniel, you've been racing your entire life. A move like this, where does it rank on the things that you have seen and experienced inside a race car?
It's definitely one of the craziest things. Because for me, in reality, the crazy part is not to do it, is to think about it, you know? That's for me the crazy part. Because in my opinion, you know, yeah, it takes 2 things, and you guys know what I'm talking about to be able to do it, but to think about it, to think about that as an option, you know, you have to be a little wild. To do it, once you're in the wall, you're pretty close to the wall, it doesn't require talent, you know, you just have to be a little crazy to be able to do it. But to think about that as an option, that's where I give a lot of credit to Ross, because at that particular moment, that was his only option. The only option that he had was to do something crazy. Some people call it maybe something dumb, but it worked out.
Yeah, and even though he didn't win the race, he was a media darling. When it was all said and done yesterday, here he is on the pit lane with Bob Pockrass.
I don't know what you want to call it. I'm proud that we had a chance, and that's all that we asked for. Like I said, it was the culmination of the last 3 weeks and the previous 5 races to 34 races to get us here. That's all we asked for. And yeah, it took a crazy move that no one would have ever thought. I didn't like when I committed. I had no idea if it would work. And with the access gate off turn 4, I didn't know if it would catch me and stop me, but I knew that I would try, and it wasn't going to hurt if it didn't work. Other than my head and the car's torn up. Our car wasn't good enough for what we needed, to go race for a win or a championship. So it's really something that we need to be a little better next week. But we got a couple days to do it.
That reaction is an absolute classic as he's conducting the interview, and he just admires